everybody. Thanks so much for being here. We are in week 6. We have a big question that this is part of the 12-week year. Now, remember, the 12-week year is based on a book. We are an accountability group, and that accountability meets every Sunday, and we meet for 12 weeks, and we try to get our life moving in a positive forward direction. So today, a lot of times I will start out the day asking a specific question, and I have today's question right here. And today's question really brought up a lot of new things for us to consider, and it gives me a chance to talk about some of my favorite parts of prosperity mindset and mindfulness. But this was the question today. How has reviewing your week every single week, how has reviewing your week helped you, informed you, or invited you to expand your vision on you, on you? How has reviewing your week helped you, informed you, invited you to expand your vision on you? And what that really brought into the conversation is how many people don't really review, how many people are just learning how to do it, that if it's your first round in the 12-week year, you just sort of are trying it on, that most people don't plan in their life this way. One of the things that I see a lot of for high achievers is they just go, oh, there's the goal. I'm just going to run to that as fast as I can. So they really have to go back. High achievers that are very goal oriented, that just go, I'm going to get to there, and they just start running, or really have to go back and learn all of these other smaller skills. It's like teaching somebody who knows how to do math in their head how to really do it for the rest of us who have to learn how to do math, because we can't do it in our head yet. So when you're looking at today's question, it is not as simple as it looks. So how has reviewing your week? If you're not reviewing your week, please start. And please start evaluating, because one of the things that you're going to need to know is, how did you get so much done? And how can you really pay attention? But what in the prosperity mindset is coming, because almost every single person in our group has a prosperity mindset, what you are learning is that the goals that you have and how long you think that they would take takes longer. That you are also learning that sometimes, especially in things that are related to cleaning out areas or getting a workflow together, that you have these foundational pieces that we're missing. And that is the benefit of doing a process like this, is that you'll start to understand your own foundational pieces. But what is also happening is that I wrote myself this note, which is congratulations on honoring the time that's needed to fully process the energy. So if you're cleaning out parts of your house, there's a lot of energy. So we've had some of you who were writing a book or working on projects or working on a body of work. Oh, you have to really break it down. And there's other things that happen in the background as you are what I call working your fields. You are no longer just cultivating, you are actually now harvesting. And that's a very different concept. So we'll talk about cultivation, we'll talk about harvesting, and we'll talk about working your fields, and we'll talk about mindfulness today. So this is a big group of things that I'm going to try to tingle together. So we started out with the question, how has reviewing your week helped you, informed you, invited you to expand your vision on you? And many of you are noticing, I have to be more mindful. I have to really honor my own process, and I have to honor me, because you can't just keep driving as fast as you can and not know your destination or know other routes to that destination or expect that there's no obstacles. So what we're going to really look at is mindfulness being a how question. And I wrote this for you as well, because, and I will put this into the comment section because this one's wordy. Because having mindfulness, it is a how question. How are you willing to move towards your goals, allow a different perspective, widen the scope of observation, describe and view yourself and the world around you non-judgmentally without a set of conformist rules. So let me kind of, I'll say it one more time. Mindfulness is a how question. And that's where there's multiple kinds of mindfulness. Now, mindfulness is a spiritual practice, and it is a perspective that people have used for transcending. There's a lot of different parts of mindfulness. There's not just one kind of mindfulness. In prosperity mindset and in prosperity education, what I remind people about is that the mindfulness that we are learning is active energy. It is, we're trying to get it so that you have a very unique perspective where you have the internal piece settled, right? So you've taken the time to go inward. Ah, this is pious energy. This is inward energy. And you've straightened up, you've got good posture, and now you can gather the image and the goals that you need, and you can move forward. So when we're looking at that conversation, I want you to think about mindfulness in this process of the 12-week year. How are you going to get through the 12-week year? How are you going to do it from a prosperity mindset? It is a how question. And this is, how are you willing to move within your goals? How are you willing to move within your goals and allow a different perspective? And that perspective, we're going to do just like this. So how are you going to divide? How are you going to allow a different perspective? How are you going to widen the scope for your observation? What are you looking at? How many more things, right? How can you look around more? And how can you describe and view yourself and all of the world that's around you in a way that's non-judgmental or that's not linked and tacked in and cemented to the ground in conformist rules? Because sometimes those conformist rules of I have to do it this way is not conducive to being mindful. So we're not trying to transcend here. So when we think about mindfulness, I don't need you to sit and chat about how much you love the world or, that this is a love piece. We are literally doing this other model, this other part. And it's to say, we need to be very wise. We need to not reject what's happening in the moment. So sometimes people call that radical acceptance. I'm not saying you have to accept it. I'm just saying you don't have to reject it. So you don't have to reject the moment as being not fun. It's just saying, look, I'm going to not reject the moment. And when we are looking at the energy that you are looking for, most people are practicing with that lens inward for mindfulness, that they are using that in and they're gathering a lot of data. This is valid. It's important. You'll need it. You'll need it because that's how wisdom is made. So that's what you do need to do. That's not what we're teaching you in class. Then there is goals and expectations. That's when we take that lens, it's the same lens, and we focus it outward. This is what is vigor. This is what is that person who knows their goal. They're just going to, there's my goal. I'm just going to run towards it. That action energy is taking that and focusing it outward. This is what I need to achieve. I need this. Until I see that car in the driveway, I'm not done. So there is value in someone who has vision. And the original question, right? How has this process helped with your vision on you? So that piece of being able to see it, being a goal seeker, this is great. There's a place in the middle. So instead of saying, hey, I want to look inward only or looking external only, I'm saying, look, we're going to turn the lens sideways so that you can equally see within and forward. So we are going to have a lens that is parked this way, and it is going to help you in that energy of moving forward. So you have to be able to know who you are, and you have to be able to know where you're going. So I need the inward, I need the exterior, and now we're going to park in the middle. And we're going to take all of our inward knowledge and use it so that we can open up how we see the world. And when I say open up your mind, it's to say, look, I know where my goal is, but I'm still going to move around. I'm going to move my lens so that I can widen the view. I'm going to move my lens so that I can see my goals and within me, but I'm also going to see if they're movable. Can I move them around? Is there a way that I could achieve what I want a little differently? Can I take a little time? And when we call that, it's working your fields. And when you're working your fields, this is the way that I explain working your fields, which is it's working on the opportunities that support us to grow. So when you're working on that, you want to keep in this mindset of it's not all inward, it's not all exterior. I got to get done. I got to get done. It's the middle. We're going to stay in this middle space, and this is action energy. So when you think about mindfulness energy, when you think about energy in general, right, do it with a good posture, right? Gather the image and your intentions, write them down, but you've got to come out of cultivation and into harvesting. So when we look at cultivation energy, this is that willingness. And we talk about that as agency, but it's the willingness. It's the willingness that I want to achieve that goal. You have to have that first. But that is cultivation. That's just moving the soil around. That's planting seeds. That's not actually harvesting anything at home. So a lot of times cultivation energy is actually pious, inward, quiet energy. And we have to have that motion energy. We have to have that lens not all focused here or focused in our mind. We have to actually have it not all focused outside because we need to know where we're going. So we're going to have it right in that middle space. And that middle space is actually the movement. A small thing every day, chugga, 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 chugga. A small thing every day, chugga, 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 chugga. And that small thing is when we have our goals and our mindset and our action. And that's the harvesting tool. And that's just exactly like the machinery to get it done. We have to have the harvesting tools consistently and persistently moving the action energy forward. If you don't know who you are or why you're doing it, that action is going to feel forced. It's going to feel untethered. It's going to feel like busy work. We're not here to do busy work. You're here to say, this is where I want to go. These are the things I want to achieve. I've taken the time inwardly, and now I can move out of cultivation and into harvesting. And you have to know what you're harvesting. You can't just go, oh, hey, cut down some trees. Well, not all trees pay the same. Not all trees grow the same. Not all trees will get you money at the lumber mill. So work your fields. And when we look at that working your fields, we want to focus on opportunities that support your growth. And so when I think about the time, like, what are you doing? This is why I question, what you doing? What you doing? How's it going? That's why I ask a question every week. How is it going? It is to say, are you working your fields? Are you doing things in your life with your time that support your own growth? Lots of people give their time away to things that don't actually support them. They support other people. So you have to focus in to go, what are you doing to support you? And you hear me say this a lot of why I'm so happy that to see you in class. Why is it a big deal? Because I'd like you to win. And I like it when great things happen for great people. And you are a great thing and you are a great people. So it works out double. So today in the question, I want to recognize that many of you are learning that this takes longer than you thought. It's harder than you thought. It's more cumbersome to get into this new groove because many of you are used to just going from zero to the moon. You're not actually learning how to build a spaceship. And we're learning how to build a spaceship of you and something that is recreatable. One of the reasons why I want you to look at what you did last week and look at the outcomes is because those are measured pieces of success. And the more you measure your success, the more you go, oh, yeah, I should have done that on a Tuesday, not on a Thursday. Or that you start to look at other things that make it work more consistently. And when you are thinking about mindfulness, I do need you to really remember that in prosperity mindset, we are looking at that certain kind of mindfulness, that we are looking for action energy, we are looking for harvesting energy. We're not necessarily focusing on cultivation or internal response. So we're not focusing that lens here, and we're not just focusing it out here to this thing out here I want. Until that car's in my driveway, I'm not done. No, we're going to say, look, all of the work we have to do inside, we're just going to keep doing it. We're going to take quiet time. We're going to do that type of mindfulness. But to harvest, we that's not the mindfulness that we need. If it's only focused inward, you're not going to get anywhere. So we've got to pull that out and say, all right, I have to know where I'm going. I have to know who I am and what my truth is. And then I'm going to set that sideways. I'm going to sometimes expand, right? I'm going to expand my view. Even though my lens, I know who I am and I know where I'm going, but gosh, I can look around a lot more. I can open my lens to see a lot further, and I can look at the world in a non-judgmental way. And I can use that lens in a way that's not stuck to all these conformist rules. So can you look around a little more non-judgmentally? So just focus on moving around a little bit within your own goals and your vision. So I'm going to repeat the original question, which is today's question: how has reviewing your week helped you, informed you, or invited you to your own expanded vision of what you want for you? And so the ask out of this whole video is to say, ask yourself if you're really doing it. If you're not, please start, because it is a foundational part of how this system works. So if you are thinking that it's just something to do later, no, you must do that part. That's why I will reach over here in the 12-week year. That's why we gave you the goals, the tactics, but it's these review sheets that I'm talking about specifically, that you need to review each of the weeks. And that is what can be improved, what went well, what's not working, and not focusing in on I didn't have enough time or what the obstacles were. I'm really looking for the efficacy. How efficient are you? Is what you're doing actually working? And what are the tools that you need? You want to be in conversation with your tactics, not just one thing. I just got to get the miles in. Well, just getting the miles in is really focused right out here. And I'm saying, oh, well, let's get the miles in so that you can also do some of the other things that are important to you. So some of you have combined some of your goals, that you've taken goals and put them together in a way that's a little more meaningful. So listening to an audiobook on your business and going for that walk, right? Now I have a double win. And any time that you can put a thing on top of a thing, and thing on top of thing, if you can start piling it up, you're more likely to do that action because you get two wins, not just one. So it may be looking at your foundational goals again, or the goals that you have, and the tactics, and seeing, can some of them blend together? And that's what I mean when I say opening the, just looking around a little more. Can we open the perspective of how you're achieving? What is that achievement? Sometimes it's opening the perspective of what is even the value. So the question about mindfulness, the thing I want to leave you with is it's a how question. And I'm going to read it right here again, and I will put it in that box. Is being mindful is a how question. How are you willing to move within your goals to allow a different perspective? Widen the scope of the observation. Describe and view yourself and the world right? What's the language and the vantage point that you're going to use to describe yourself and the world around you non-judgmentally? That just screaming that something is hard or there's an obstacle isn't actually around being mindful. Because we don't care what the truth is, we care about your truth. So when you are looking at how can you also just get out of those nonconformist, how do you get out of those conformist rules? And a lot of times it's just reminding you that informed action is mindfulness. Informed action is mindfulness, and that is what we are doing. But it is a very different kind of mindfulness. So thank you. Thank you for coming along. Thank you for even considering. Thank you for watching the video. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for sending this message to your friend. But mostly, thank you for paying attention to how to do these little things and working your fields. And that's the, if I were going to say, what do I think is the number one thing you should take away from today, is that you get points just for showing up. And you get points for letting it rattle around in your brain. And the points that you're going to learn how to get is how to take something out of cultivation and into harvesting. And that's why we're actually moving towards, is we're looking for the harvest. So work your fields. Those are the opportunities that support your growth. And I will see you in class. Bye.